The Fargo Five. I'm Conrad Fargo. We are here to do Fargo Famous. This is where we talk about the exciting people who live in this wonderful town of Frost and Fire, Fargo, North Dakota. We've got Taylor Schatz from Below Zero Wrestling. Hello, Taylor.
Hello, Conrad. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, we were talking on the way over here. I'd asked you how you wanted me to introduce you, and you actually said Jake Taylor first, because that is your wrestling name.
That is.
You are so now you got to help me with this, too.
Sure.
You're a professional wrestler?
Yes.
But it's not national, or is it? Like, what is that makes it a professional wrestler?
Professional wrestling is the art form, the style itself.
Yeah, okay.
What most professional wrestlers out there are on the independent circuits themselves, wrestling all across the United States. It used to be territories back in the day, but it ended up turning into being bought out by larger group corporations, WWE.
Yeah.
Usually WCW back in the day with
Yes.
Turner, and then those merged as well, too. And now you have AEW, that's on TNT, that's owned by Tony Khan, New Japan Pro. Those are all all professional wrestling in a sports entertainment sort of a viewscape. But the actual style of what wrestling they're doing is called professional wrestling.
You understand my confusion, though, right? Because there's multiple levels. So there's how do you differentiate between? Because would you guys because there's little league and then there's pro baseball, right?
Sure.
Like the professional.
Basically, what they used to do back in the day is, and this is way back in the day, is there was amateur wrestling.
Yes.
And then when you went past amateur, you would turn pro.
Uh-huh.
And then the art form and the sports style actually changed it a little bit within there with the inner workings of it, but it's called professional wrestling.
Okay. So you are a professional wrestler.
Correct.
Jake Taylor, the professional wrestler.
Correct.
How long have you been doing that?
Oh, since 2019, I started training with my coach Pat Tanaka, who was famous through the AWA, which is based out of Minnesota, and he was in the WWF as well back in the day, and WCW, trained a whole bunch of people, but. Yeah, Pat Tanaka ended up training me initially, and then ended up, starting up our own little school, our little club, and we train each other, and we work on all of our stuff before we go and tackle the sport.
What inspired you? So are you from Fargo originally?
I am from North Dakota originally.
Okay.
So born in Bismarck and sort of traveled around a little bit within the state, up in Grand Forks.
When did you come to Fargo?
I came to Fargo for university, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. Common story.
Yeah,
all
absolutely. Right. Came to Fargo for university. In-state tuition, obviously, was a helpful thing. Went to North Dakota State University. I ended up getting my Bachelor of Fine Arts and Theater Arts with an emphasis in performance.
Wow. Very cool.
Yes.
Really cool. Really cool.
BFA. Woo.
So, and when I think of theater people, I don't usually think of people who are really jacked.
I know.
And, it's not a high testosterone. Did you fit in with the other theater kids? Were you so jacked back then, or is that something that's evolved?
That's something that's evolved. And thank you. I appreciate it. No, I was always kind of a bigger guy. I would say fat. I was a lot fatter.
I used to be 300 pounds.
Me too. 315 is where I capped out.
And then, so how did you lose all the weight?
Well, I've always been sort of athletic because I played football back in high school, and I liked running around. I like sport. I like all those things, jumping, just landing, falling on things.
Yeah.
But over time, what happened was I started training in the martial arts as well too.
Yeah.
Doing taekwondo, judo, jiu-jitsu, things like that.
Okay.
And then I started personal training myself because it's just something clicked in my head. I was actually. I woke up one day and I had an ankle injury from having a really bad day at work. I was serving at Johnny Carino's at the time, wearing some really bad shoes, and it messed up my ankle. And I stood up and I collapsed, and I was like, "This is stupid." And I was young enough at the time where I was like, I should not be falling down on the ground just standing up from waking up. So I ended up I have to change this. So I had just a quick, complete mindset change right there, and it's I have to lose weight because there's no way that my ankle should be collapsing on me at this point.
Yes.
And then I bought myself some home DVDs. It was Beachbody. I started eating better, more right. And I just grinded it away, and just and the pounds started coming off, and then the muscle started coming on, And then it just became a little bit of an addictive process. So instead of going home after work, just turning on the TV and chilling out to that, I would go home and I'd work out for at least an hour a day. And I did that for a complete year. And within a year of doing that, I had lost about 100 pounds of fat and gained about 20 pounds of muscle. So I lost 80 pounds.
Yeah, congratulations.
And then just kept on with the process,
keep
different
on.
training styles, different weightlifting things, different martial arts, and just kept going at it.
And so then how did that lead into professional wrestling? Where did that, well, I mean, like seriously, like
Sure.
what's step one?
Sure.
Right? Like you must have been thinking about it for a long time, or you just got out of bed and you're like, how do I do? I mean,
it's a little bit more of the latter than the former.
Wow.
So I was over at a friend's house one day, and we were watching, I forget which WrestleMania it was, but it was one where Dwayne Johnson came back, and it was one of those things. Yeah, The Rock is where I was watching, and it was a moment right before he came out, and I think John Cena was out there, and I was just thinking The Rock, and then all of a sudden the electricity hit, and his music hit, and it was like, okay, and I got little chills there, and then I was watching them, work out there, I was watching them wrestle, and I was just like, I just thought to myself, literally, I can do that. I think I can do that. How do I do it? Right.
Yeah.
And then it was just a matter of, and I think that was like I can't even remember, 2016, 2017. And then it was sort of in the back of my head from that point. And then I ended up finding a trainer. Pat Tanaka at the time was in Fargo. He started up a training school, and it was like one of the most nerve-wracking things that I ever did was just email him and be like, can I come and learn how to do this thing? And he was, very gracious, took me in, helped me out, really showed me the ropes, as it were, literally and figuratively. Right.
Get it?
But yeah, and then we trained with him for quite a while. Did a couple shows, but then 2020 happened, and that sort of just shut down like all industries, all over the world. I was also working in the live event setup, the live entertainment industry as well too. I was in charge of a group of people that did the stage labor and the event staffing for live entertainment in the Fargo, Moorhead, Grand Forks, sometimes part of Minnesota areas as well too. So I would get the people that would help set that stuff up, tear it down, and the people that would keep you safe and keep everyone nice and mellow. And I was doing that at the same time. Well, that industry completely shut down. That was one of the first industries to shut down, and that was one of the last ones to really come back up as well too. So it was a really stressful time, 2020, 21. And then all the while I'm trying to get this, professional wrestling thing off the ground.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, well, let's go work some shows somewhere, and like nobody's doing shows, and it's like, oh, they're doing shows over here, but everyone has to wear masks. Okay, how are you gonna wear a mask and wrestle around and keep it on the entire time? And
so are you a part of Below Zero?
Yes.
Like okay, so you're like a critical part. I didn't know. So I know previous guest of the show, Nick Stokey.
Yes.
I've known him for a minute and a half. I did a
Below
lot of
Zero
networking.
Commissioner.
Yeah, well, he's the man with Prey Press Control and all that, and I've known him forever. He's who hooked us up.
Oh, beautiful.
And so I want to hear more about what you do with Below Zero. We're already way past our 5-minute mark. No, they go really quick.
Yeah, they do.
So we are going to move to music. That I do it for time. The first one is going to be the Lost Woods dubstep remix.
Yep.
So Zelda,
baby.
you love some Zelda, huh?
100%.
And you like dubstep.
100%.
So when you sent me that music list, I was like, did we just become best friends? Yup. Like it was that meme. And then we've been talking here before the things. You and I, we're gonna be doing things in the future. So I like that. But we're gonna listen to that music, and then when we come back, we'll talk Fargo Fun. So don't go nowhere.